All right, so let's do an example problem for Mann Whitney. And I'm going to break this into the steps that might help. And it's going to seem like it's going to be a longer time. But once you understand it, this is really what we do for every test that we're going to see. So a state highway department uses 2 brands of paint for painting stripes on the road. A highway official wants to know what the durability of the 2 brands of paints are different at the 5% level of significance. Okay, so you have 2 brands of paints and he wants to see if they're different. For each paint, the official records the number of months the paint had persisted on the highway. The distribution of both brands of paint are not normal. All right, so what's going on in this one? So what's going on is there's 2 types of paint, and you want to see which one is more durable because that's probably the one you're going to buy again in the future because you can count on it more and it can save you money. All right, so I ran the distributions and I'm going to show you how to do this. And here is the histograms for brand A and brand B. And if you look at this, they're not too bad. This one's got it looks skewed. The easier way for me to do this is do the normality test. And for brand A, the p-value is 0.233, which means it is not normal. And down here for brand B, you can see the dots are not on the line and the p-value is greater. So that, again, that is not normal. All right, so I'm going to ask these questions. And we're going to keep going back to them. So I'm going to say, is this a test for 2 means or 2 medians? Are the distributions of each sample normal or non-normal? What test are you going to perform? And then we're going to go through a basic hypothesis test. We're going to do the hypotheses, what direction the test is, what the test statistic p-value, do you reject or not reject or null, and the conclusion. All right, is this a test of 2 means or 2 medians? So we're going to do 2 medians because the distribution of both brands of paint are not normal. So, are the distributions for each sample normal or non-normal? Again, I got to go back to part A because it said it was not normal, and I also saw it through the histograms and the normality plots. So which test are you going to perform? You're going to do the Mann-Whitney since there are 2 samples and their distributions are not normal. Also, they're independent of one another. So what are the null and alternative hypotheses? Okay, so remember, the person wanted to know if there was a difference. He didn't know if it was greater than or less than. So my null is that the median of paint 1 equals the median of paint 2. The alternative is the median of paint 1 does not equal the median of paint 2. And again, I'm looking at the median time, the lifetime. Okay, that's what we're measuring. So again, brand A is sample 1 and brand B is sample 2. I just did it that way to keep the consistency up and to make it easier. And remember, I would make sure you know which one is which, because if you flip them, your test statistics and your p-value could be incorrect. So is this a right-tailed, left-tailed, or two-tailed? It's a two-tailed since the alternative has the I put that wrong, has the not equal sign. So let me update that. Sorry about that while we're doing that. I don't want anybody to get confused. I'm going to do the not equal sign. Oops. Not equal. And I'm going to insert it. Okay. And close it. All right. Let me go back to that one. So now you know. Okay. Remember, it's a two-tailed since the alternative has the not equal sign. What is the test statistics and p-value? We're going to use Minitab. And again, as you keep going, you'll see how I did it and how I get the results, but let's go ahead and do it in Minitab. All right, so I have brand A and brand B. So I'm going to go to non-parametric and I'm going to go to Mann-Whitney because that's what I'm running. All right, my first sample was brand A. My second sample was brand B, and I'm going to keep this as not equal. If I change my confidence level, this is where I do it. And then I hit OK. So if I push this down, you can see that I have my descriptive statistics for brand A. I have a sample size of 11 and with a median life of 36. With brand B, I have 10 and a median life of 37.6. I have this is the difference between brand A and brand B. And then if I keep going down here, I've got the null, and then I've got the W value, which is your Mann Whitney, 76.5, and then your p-value. All right, so let's go back to the PowerPoint. Okay, and again, here's everything that I just said. So I've got my W value and I've got my 0.002. I'm going to use the not adjusted for ties. Sometimes they'll be slightly off, but for this class, just use the first one. Okay. The cool thing is it gives me the difference between the two paint values. It gives me negative 1.85. So that's the difference between B and A in terms of the estimated life difference in the paint. Okay, so I've got my test statistic and my p-value. And since my p-value is 0.002 and it's less than my level of significance, I'm going to reject my null. Okay, so that means I'm going to reject the null, which means that it's not equal. So at the 5% level of significance for the sample data, there is sufficient evidence to conclude that the durability of the two brands of paint are different. Brand A is less durable than brand B since there's a difference of negative 1.85. That's what it meant. If it had been positive 1.85, then that would have meant brand A is more durable than brand B. So, because it's a negative, that's showing me that my second group has a difference than brand A. Okay, I hope that helped. And then on the last slide, let me just show you is where I got the information.